Well, hello my fellow car modelers, how you doing today? This is the start, or should I say the first episode of a brand new show that I kind of presented to you guys a while back in a video. Now we're going to start with the first episode. But let me give you a little rundown of what this show is going to be about. It's kind of an interest I have in the hobby, something I really enjoy doing. I love getting a hold of old built-ups or old models of mine that have been in disarray. We've showed that before in some of my junk box, junkyard box, kits that are just destroyed, been in a box for a long time and whatnot, and it's kind of fun to resurrect a few of them, and I showed you that one that we did. Unfortunately, the video went bad when I was making the video on how I made it nicer, but I did show you that Bobby Ellison Buick that I took out of the box. It was just in terrible condition, and we put it back together, and then I did that one video of rescuing that old build-up I did of the Grumpy's Toy Camaro. So I thought, that's kind of a neat little different thing to do, is just taking old models and bringing them back to life. Old built-ups, I should say, ones that were already built. It's kind of a fun thing. If it's also a kind of a cheaper way to get a hold of maybe a long time discontinued kit, you buy a built-up of it, you disassemble it, build it back up. But there's also other avenues I want to cover in this show, and we're going to do that. In this one is something I enjoy doing, is I love getting a hold of a model that was built up, probably done by a kid back in the 70s, and I like to just kind of clean it up and put it back together, because it could be just in pieces anyways, and just bring it back into the glory of what that builder did with it back in the day. And I love displaying those kind of models. I've had a few of them. I enjoy those, and this is a perfect example. I got a hold of this build-up a long time ago, and with the idea of maybe I was going to redo the whole car, but it doesn't really need to be. There was something about it. I just liked it. I just wanted to make it into what it was. I don't really want to paint it and change it. And it's this, I showed it to you before. It's still in the bag. All the pieces are there, but it's the old MPC Buddy Baker Petty Enterprises entry of the Dodge Charger number 11, and it's a cool subject matter. It was a kit, this out of the box kit, done probably back in the 70s. It sure looks like it. Not even painted. It's the raw plastic with the decals put on, like what a kid would have done. And I just want to put this thing together just to display it. I really enjoy that kind of stuff. It's fun. But there's other things we're going to do. I'm going to take some of my models, clean them up, make them presentable again, like I did with that Bobby Ellison car. Some of them I'll go to extreme of repainting or completely doing a whole new build with a kind of a kit that I got, like I have over here. You remember that video I did of that Tamiya Porsche? And I got it all disassembled. I did a video of it disassembling it. Well, I'm probably going to build this into an all-out actual model that I would even probably take to shows. It's a subject matter I want to know. That's a very expensive kit to get a hold of, and I just kind of want to do something cool with that. And I even have another, old MPC NASCAR built up that I bought years ago. I kind of want to just make it a nice shelf model. Not going to paint it. The original builder's work is still going to be there. I just want to kind of fix up what the original builder did, and it's just something fun to do, and it's just quick, easy, satisfying little things to do once in a while. But we're going to do that in all levels of this show that we called it This Old Model Car. Yeah, I came up with that name all by myself. Yeah, that's my introduction to this. That's what this show is going to be about. And this first episode is going to be about resurrecting an old MPC Buddy Baker number 11 Dodge. So let's get into this one, okay? All right, the subject for today is this build-up. It's pretty much everything's there. Everything is pretty much there. I don't believe there's any missing parts. I think we got enough here to put a nice shelf model together. And again, what I'm going for is the essence of the original build. I just think, it's a great part of our model car history. The old MPC NASCAR kits were a breakthrough back in the early 70s. They were extremely popular. And back then, it was a kid's hobby. And so most of the time, kids built these. But there were also a lot of adults. But you can pretty much tell this was probably put together by some kid, got this kit for Christmas or a birthday, and was all excited and just had a good time. And they actually did a pretty nice job. I mean, it's got its dirtiness, and we might be able to clean some of this stuff up from laying the decals down, but it appears to not be painted. The plastic, we want to be real careful because we don't want to ruin these decals, but they actually laid the decals down pretty nice, pretty straight. So this kid did a really good job. It's not a glue bomb by any means. Look at the front windshield. This thing is probably going to clean up really, really, really nice and look pretty sharp. And like I said, when I got this model, it just called to me that that's where it would look so cool. Just a very nice resurrecting of the original build of this car in complete honor of whoever this kid was that built this model. I think this will just be just a really cool, neat thing. Let's get all the parts out here and take a look. There's some broken pieces I think we'll be able to fix. I just sent something sailing, so hopefully I'll find it. Got everything out of this bag. So here we are. We've got our built up. Got all these pieces and parts. There's a whole bunch of stuff we'll go through. I'm going to put the model just off to the side here. See if I can find the piece that fell. I just don't even know what it was. A good thing I found that piece. It was part of the front bars go under the hood. There, all the strengthening chassis bars. We've got the rear end is still in the back half of the car, so it looks all pretty solid. So we're probably not really gonna. The wheels, they're okay. Everything looks good there. We've got the front wheel and the spindles in there. Engine, that Hemi engine. There's that flat hood. We've got all kinds of that goes in the back. That's the firewall. It looks like we have pretty much every part. I just see one thing missing. I am missing a front tire and wheel and spindle, but that's okay. I think I can dig in the parts box and come up with something that we will replace that with. So I did find an old Holman and Moody style wheel. This is probably from one of the old MPC kits. It looks pretty ancient. And I did find another tire. Now, if you remember from that one video that I did about the different widths of these tires from these old MPC kits, this is one of the ones that came out later that had a little bit skinnier of a tire. You can really see it in this one. This one is super skinny. Parts box things, it'll be fine. It'll look good when we get this model done, because the whole presentation of this model is more of the historical value to our hobby that this has for me. Let's go ahead. It looks like we got like 1970s dust right there, huh? That's pretty cool. One thing we're going to have to figure out though is I'm going to need an inside wheel and a spindle. I'm not quite sure what we'll do with that. We'll have to do some parts box digging, but we've got a wheel and tire we'll work with. And as far as this body, I'm putting the body off to the side, and let's start cleaning up and assembling this chassis. And where to start? I'm going to go fill this little bowl I have here with water, and we'll just do a little bit of cleanup. And we're just going to go in here and we're just going to clean this 40-year-old dust right off of there. So it just cleans right up. If there's things that are still glued on, I don't want to pop this stuff off. I don't want to pop any more off than I have to. That's hanging there. That's ridiculous. Get this seat, which is not even painted. It's just the plastic. Just getting the dust off. It cleans up just fine with the water. Something I'm noticing is kind of interesting. The silver paint on this floor, actually, I wonder what they use. It's not brushed on. They did a pretty nice job of painting. It has a nice metallic aluminum look. You see that? It's actually looks pretty decent. And quite honestly, I'm not really that concerned. I just want to get the major grunge up. It's almost kind of sad taking this, 40-year-old dirt and grunge off of there. But, this thing's going to sit on a shelf. It's going to get dusty on the inside again. Don't want to put a lot of time. I'll put more effort into what we visually see when it's sitting there. But we also don't want it to be a total grunge fest inside there. So we're going to take a dry part, just rub it a little more. But yeah, we've got that pretty cleaned up. A few little spots here and there. It looks definitely a lot better. You know, some people might think this is what a waste of time. You know, you got to, why not build this, make it really nice. Me, I enjoy preserving what the original builder did. I think it makes the model look historical. I know, you know, it's nobody famous or anything like that. The point is, it's just a representation of what these models were about back in those days for a little kid. Sometimes I just enjoy doing it when I have a really nicely preserved, built up, you know, that obviously was done when these kits were new from a kid back in the 70s. I think that's something really worthwhile preserving. And again, we'll do some other ones that we'll totally repaint or re-clear and just make them really nice. But this one, I don't want to, you know, I don't want to paint anything. I don't want to re-clear anything. I don't want to really do anything but reassemble this thing and just clean it up. Where to move on to? We could put this, let's see, how will this go back together? It pretty much will snap right back in its original spot, because that's where it goes. I mean, all the alignment pins are still there and still good. That's kind of cool. So where did this go? I have to go by the glue marks. And going by the glue marks, I would say right about there. That'll be the spot. We're going to put this thing together right there. I am going to use Tamiya Extra Thin Quick Setting. I like this stuff, and it bonds pretty quick. And I'm going to use some clamps here. Put those there. Bonds pretty quick, and it fuses the plastic together. We'll get this on here. I think that will do the job. I got that set in there, and let's put some clamps to hold it into place. And we'll let that sit. This is actually pretty impressive. This kid, when he built it, might have been built by an adult. You know, back in the day, an adult would build a kit. Not like the way we do today. They would probably just put it together, maybe put it together for their child. That paint on that floor looks really well done. It is impressive. Kind of has a airplane look about the whole floorboard. I love rivets. It's not accurate for what a cup car was back in the day, but that floor is very cool looking. I really like those. So we're going to let that sit for a little bit. And we got this firewall here. We're just going to kind of get that back into its place. I think this is going to be a job for a little bit of CA glue. We got a lot of paint to deal with and stuff. I'm going to just use some good old CA glue. Get it up on there. Some sloppy building. I got my accelerant. I get some of that going. Get that down there. Wow. This thing's kind of like spring load, and I just want that to hold together. Boom. Clamp down. Let's see if it'll work for us. Alright, so we've got that clamp down. Let that set up. Let's see if we've got our chassis all in one piece now. Yeah, that seems to be pretty strongly bonded there, so we're done with that. So we can move on. Let's go ahead and start putting the cage together. We'll start with this main hoop, and it goes right, and I don't have any instructions, so I'm trying to remember. It goes right about there. So there's two holes here, but I think what we got is we've got the forward hole, of course, that goes into there, and then we'll put this one right there. So I think I am definitely going to use CA glue and accelerant. I think that's going to be. So I've got my accelerant here in my anti-spillover. I just like to keep that loose and put it over to here where I can grab it. And I usually take a little piece of masking tape like this, and I just stick it on my bench right there, and I will anti-spill. I've showed that in a video a couple years ago on how I make these things so I don't spill my glues. I've got my plastic toothpick, and we're going to go to town and put some dab glue into there. This is where I like the CA glues, just quick. Get this right up into here. So we've got that. I love this accelerant. It's so cool. It just makes stuff so quick. We dab a little bit right there, and bam, it's in place. I'm going to put the glue on to these parts here. Get it totally into place. There we go. How about that? It looks like rebar. It's the thing about those MPC kits. They were trying to simulate, wrap onto the bars, but they just made it look like rebar. I always thought that was kind of silly looking. Throw a little bit of accelerant on here, a little bit of accelerant on there. There we go. We're getting this cage together. So now we're going to go ahead and put this side on. Do it the same way. We're just going to put a dab of glue on all these spots. There we go. Looking like a roll cage, huh? Pretty sturdy. Then we got our overhead halo. Let's just do a quick test fit here where things go. Alright, I'm seeing how we're going to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put, because we still have some pegs that fit into holes right there, I'm going to take advantage of that and do that side first. Getting the upper halo hoop onto the main hoop. There we go. I think I did it. I think I almost got it. Need to get a little more on there. Get it like that. And zapparoo. And zing, Bob. There we go. Bing. There. Now we'll just glue it onto these little jobs. There we go. I think that fit in there pretty good. Now I'm going to do this passenger side A-pillar bar. Let's get some glue in there. My glue is starting to thickening up here, which I don't mind too bad. Let's get this there. Zing, pow. Pow, zing, crackle, smack. Think we did it? Did we do it? Ta-da! Alright, and then we've got this side, which is kind of hokey in a way. Trying to get it, the original peg and hole type thing going on there. It's there, kind of, sort of, and I broke this whole thing to heck by doing that. I think I'm going to just throw some glue right into here just to strengthen this up because it moved on me. And then we will do the old accelerant trick. Pretty sturdy. And the next thing, I think we'll put this dashboard in. The dashboard on this thing's, they were always kind of, it was kind of a hokey setup. You got these little tabs that just basically glue onto the roll cage and it's done. And it's kind of a weird fit. It goes kind of like that, I think. I can't remember. It's been years since I've built one of these MPC kits, so I can't remember how it goes. Yeah, I think it's like that. I don't know. You know what? Is it like that? That looks a little too high. I wonder if it's on the other run. I think that's where we do it. I think that's where we put them. You know, the whole thing looks kind of off. I don't think the steering wheel is in correctly. I'm going to redo the steering wheel. I think it was totally wrong, so I'm going to re-up the steering wheel. It's actually kind of, I think what we might have to do is put this in first. this first episode is the Bobby Allison. Holy crap, no. Kit has a ball budge. Trust me.